Father Song originally thought that Warnya went to Japan to discuss cooperation this time, and encountered the cooperation of the Song family and outsiders. In order to prevent her from encountering such danger, he would rather want Warnya to give up the plan to expand any cooperate with overseas. However, he didn't expect her to get such a generous contract from Nippon Steel. Nippon Steel is a leader in the global steel industry. In this industry, their right to speak is extremely high. For companies like the Song Group, if they want to cooperate with others, they have to rush to ask. Not only have to ask for it, but also prepare the land and all local relations, and then invite Nippon Steel to come and cooperate. This feeling is tantamount to tidying up a bedroom in one's own house, and then rushing to other people's homes and asking them to stay for a few days. Attitude cannot be said to be unhumble. Generally speaking, the more unequal cooperation like this, the more unequal treaties must be signed. One of the most common unequal treaties is to give a lot of money and get a small head, and let others make big money and with a small head. However, who could have imagined that Warnya would have subverted the balance between the Song Group and Nippon Steel, letting Nippon Steel to pay a lot of money and take a small head? This was something that no one had ever imagined before. In the board of directors, many people think this is a fantasy. However, they didn't dare directly question Warnya, the chairman, so they could only whisper to each other. Soon, an old director stood up and said, "Chairman, as far as I know, Nippon Steel has never been willing to sacrifice controlling shares. Will the other party fulfill the contract you mentioned? Or, there are any hidden clauses in the contract, or harsh gambling agreements? In fact, contract traps are indeed very common. Many established capitalists like to set their opponents or partners in the contract. Many entrepreneurs get generous investment from capitalists when they start their own businesses, and they are determined to do a big job. Well done, naturally everyone is happy. But if you don't do it well, it will be a big trouble. Some investors require the investee to add an unlimited joint and several liability clauses to the contract, not to mention that unlimited joint liability has only 6 characters, but the lack of power behind it can make the investee go to ruins. Because once the unlimited joint venture and liability is signed, if the transaction does not do well and loses money, the investor has the right to demand that the investee pays from his own pocket and compensate all the lost investment money. For example, the owner of Tangsun, which used to be a mobile phone company, signed unlimited joint venture and liability, so after the failure of the business, he still owed up to 400 million in debt. There are also many founders of companies who, because they cannot compensate investors, were eventually driven out of the companies they had worked so hard to create, and even went bankrupt and went to jail. Therefore, the directors are also worried about whether there are any similar gambling clauses in the agreement signed by Warnya. Warnya didn't explain much. She took out a contract from her backpack and said, "This is the original contract signed by Nippon Steel's chairman Shinwa Watanabe with me. You can check it out and see if there are any details in the terms." "No problem." The old director stretched out his hand to accept the contract, and a crowd of other people waited hurriedly around. Even the old Song couldn't hold back a bit, and stepped forward to see what happened in Japan. When everyone saw the contract, their eyes became bigger and bigger. This is indeed a formal contract, and the terms are clear and simple. There are no ambiguous marginal terms, and there is no content that hides business risks. At the end, there is indeed the official seal of Nippon Steel and the autograph of Watanabe Shinka. It is indeed a true and valid contract. At this moment, everyone couldn't help but be pleased. The old director excitedly said, "Oh, I have never seen Nippon Steel sign a contract with such a big concession. This can be said to be unprecedented. The face of our chairman Song is really great. A face, at least worth 2 or 3 billion. Even higher." Others also agreed. Yes, Chairman Song won such a favorable contract from Nippon Steel, which is almost unheard of in that company's history. If we announce this news to the outside world, the stock price will inevitably be rapid. In fact, skyrocket. Someone looked at the time and blurted out, "The news of Chairman Song's safe return is estimated to have been released by the media." This was originally good news. Now there is this Nippon Steel contract. Announced to the public, there are two big benefits. When our stock resumes trading, it will definitely increase its daily limit 3 or 4 in a row. The market value of the group can increase by 30 to 40%. Chairman Song, you have really taken the Song group forward this time, Warnya said very seriously at this time. The reason why Nippon Steel's cooperation can be negotiated and can receive such large preferential terms is entirely because Mr. Wade helped plug the bridge. Nippon Steel's chairman Watanabe Shinka signed solely because of Mr. Wade, so thanks goes to Mr. Wade. After all, she looked at Charlie and said sincerely, Mr. Wade, everything is thanks to you this time. If it weren't for you, I would have died in Japan. If it weren't for you, Grandpa would have been killed. The poison ruined the brain, not to mention that you can still get such favorable conditions as Nippon Steel. Warnya is so grateful. Charlie smiled slightly. You don't need to be so polite, these are things that friends should do, just a little effort. After saying this, Charlie stood up and said, Warnya, you just came back, and there are a lot of things in the group waiting for you to decide. I won't bother you much. It just happened to be out a few days ago. I have to go back soon. Home is waiting for me. When Warnya heard this, she immediately said with dismay, Mr. Wade, I wonder if it is not convenient for you to have lunch together? You have done so much for us, and we have not had the opportunity to thank you. Charlie smiled and said, Didn't I say that you don't need to be so polite? You can do your work first. We can eat any time we want to eat. We can make an appointment when you finish your work. Elder Song also said to the side, Yes, Warnya, Mr. Wade has been away from home for a few days for you, so he should go back soon and let his family see him. Warnya nodded her head. Mr. Wade, then I will send you out, no need. Charlie said, You can continue to talk to everyone about work while they are here. You are back now, and Nippon Steel's cooperation has also been discussed. It stands to reason that one day should be held. The press conference is now, so take the time to prepare and strive to increase your influence. It will benefit you and the Song group. Warnya nodded gratefully and said, Okay, Mr. Wade, Warnya knows, then you should leave. I will arrange a banquet another day, and you must come over by then. Charlie smiled and said, Well, I will definitely come back for that. After that, he waved his hand to Mr. Song again. Old man, I'm leaving now. Mr. Song hurriedly bowed deeply and said respectfully, Mr. Wade, have a safe journey. Charlie stepped out of the report hall, and both Isaac and Orville waited respectfully outside the door. Seeing him come out, Isaac hurried forward and said in a low voice, Master, the car is ready. Shall I take you home or? Charlie said lightly, Well, I think I'll go home. Orville, who was on the side, also ran over and asked for instructions. Mr. Wade, your aunt has been in village for the 9th day. For these 2 days, she has been crying and wailing all the time to go back, causing the neighbors of the city village to call 911 to complain. It's been several rounds. Do you want to let her go?